Hello and welcome to Anatomy of Us, a show dedicated to bringing real help to real couples. I'm your host, Melanie Studley.
What's up, guys? My name is Seth Studley. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and together we are high-performance marriage coaches.
We are cutting through the bullcrap and creating a movement of happy, healthy, badass couples all over the world.
Let's go!
Hello and welcome to Anatomy of Sex. I'm your host, Melanie Studley.
My name is Seth Studley. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and today you have the privilege of listening to a free Anatomy of Sex episode. If you want more episodes like this, go to patreon.com/Anatomy of Sex. Is that it?
Us/us? I don't know.
Great. If you want more episodes like this, go to patreon.com/Anatomy of Us. Thank you very much. This is a free one. Go over there, grab more. There's a bunch of episodes over there. So, today, I thought that you were just typing, like trying to look cool.
Oh, no.
Because you looked away from it. I was like, what is she doing?
Oh, no.
It's funny.
I was taking time notes for our edit that we have to tell
see.
Reva about.
Okay, perfect.
So today, we are going to talk about something really exciting. It's what really turns women on. I have the secret. Did you know?
No.
Why are you laughing so hard?
Well, I'm glad that you have the secret.
Okay.
We're talking about the book.
What? No.
Okay.
So this is the topic for today. Like I said, we're going to talk
the
about
secret to what turns women on, or you on,
women.
or the ladies that you've talked to.
Didn't
Which
I
one?
just say women?
All women.
All women. Do you want to know what the secret is? I'm not going to tell you. And I've learned the secret by working with women for a long time.
Right.
And talking with women and reading books from women, all of the things about all of these things.
Did you know the secret before you talked to all the women?
What? Yeah. I don't know what you're saying. Do
Okay.
you know what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So
Sure.
let's get to the secret then.
What do you
I'm
think
interested.
the secret is? Sorry, Justin Party. I'm not supposed to ask Seth open-ended questions, but I'm going to ask him this one.
You've made that same disclaimer
I have
yesterday.
to.
Okay, that's good. What do I think the secret is?
What do you think that really turns women on?
Sexually,
Yeah.
right? Mm-hmm. Sexually, to have sex.
Yes.
No, I'm serious, because you can be turned on and not want to have sex, right? Like Emily Nagoski talks about breaks and all that stuff. So I just want to be clear on what we're talking about. So what do I think that turns you and women on sexually?
It's not that.
That was how Elaine says it on Seinfeld one time. What safety is one. Security. Solidness. No pun intended. I'm not saying that for a pun. Safety, security, and feeling special, feeling seen, heard, and loved. In all ways, more times than not. Not just, hey, let's have sex. I'm going to, make you feel this way for one day. But on the whole, day in, day out, month after month, year after year, those kind of handful of things.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Well done. Well, high five.
I
to
got
that.
it.
You got. Yeah. I mean, that's really all I wanted to talk about is
Really?
that men think that somewhere in a woman's brain is some like I don't know, like a plaid shirt would be the thing.
You have said that.
Well, it's very sexy. You should always wear plaid forever and have a big beard and a hat. You should always look like a lumberjack, really.
So
or Indiana Jones.
You didn't see me raking the things out there
I saw the
today.
hat you had on, and I was going to tell you it was cute, but I didn't want to boost your ego too much.
Why not?
I'm just joking.
Oh, plus I was wearing that, so whatever.
But I think it is so important to hear what Seth said. So things like consistency, commitment, kindness,
Safety,
making your spouse not just like I have a 401k safety, but like I actually see my spouse. I don't try to force her to do things that she doesn't want to do. I don't call her names. I don't yell in her face. I don't say she's to blame for everything.
You said force her to do things, and in another Patreon episode that we just recorded that you don't get unless you go join, we talked about a husband actually trying to force his wife to have an open marriage. Mm-hmm. And just imagine how not safe that feels
absolutely
to her. Mm-hmm. So
and
I just wanted to give that caveat.
I appreciate that. So again, too, I think it's really important for us to really explore in depth what these things all mean and what they look like and what they don't look like. Because I don't think that some men understand. Again, I'm just saying this is about what turns women on.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll sort of like draw this all out, make it make more sense. It'll all be good, but I do want to get to this thing. I see so many husbands do this and they're shooting themselves, say in the foot, but in the wiener would have been funnier.
Ow.
Think of like an airsoft gun. But anyway, you're making your chances of intimacy with your wife like just minuscule when you do these certain things. So what are the certain things? So let's just talk about, what did we just say were turn-ons for women? Let's say them all again.
Safety, security,
So making her feel safe, security,
seen, heard, loved,
consistency. So let's
holding your word or doing what you say, saying what you do, kind of thing.
So let's now look at what's the opposite of those words and the behaviors that men don't realize. So you cannot, okay, I'm going to try to paint this picture. You can't be like, okay, I'm going to be the safest, most consistent husband ever for Melanie. But then when you're angry, scream in my face and throw things against the wall and be like, well, I was angry. So that doesn't count. I'm consistent 99.99% of the time. But then every, I don't know, 2 weeks, I lose my crap or I come home completely smashed and I'm drunk out of my mind and I tell you all the things that are wrong with you. What? You don't feel safe?
Right. So to put it in context, if dudes hear that, and women too, because trust me.
Yeah, this can go both ways.
Crazy women can cause not feeling safe. And you know what I'm saying? So both ways. But in the majority, let's focus on the women. So dudes, all that stuff that Melanie said, if you're like, oh, I don't do that, or sure, I did that, once or twice or whatever, think about, and I hope that this will really drive it home. Think about your relationship with your parents and when they maybe had a hard time or criticized you or they were struggling for something, you as a kid didn't really care about their excuses. You know what I'm saying? And that makes me think of kids spell love Time. Time. Did I spell it right?
No,
Time?
I just was saying it.
I spelled it right? And think about this. Kids don't care how much dad was gone. Oh, well, I made $1 zillion and, aren't you happy?
Right.
Kids don't care that mom had, too many wine dates with her girlfriends. Oh, well, just daddy, mama needed to relax. Or, you know what I'm saying? They don't care about that. They're like, what actually happened? You know what I'm saying? And to put it in context with what you're talking about, and I hope I stay on track here, guys, what is your track record, your average? Like, what is it? Your baseball average?
Batting average?
Batting average. RBIs, ERAs.
Best at bat? I don't know. First place?
What is it, right? So if you wanted to look at stats in an athlete, okay, bring it home.
Bring it on home.
So we have a rating. I'm creating this, right? This is a Likert scale. Likert, Likert, 1 to 10.
That sounds like a Southern person saying that he likes her. I like her.
I like her, man. You too. Dang, man.
Hey, you seen her? I like her.
I like her. You'd like her too.
Now it just sounds like your brother.
Yeah. It sounded like me 15 years ago.
You'd like her too. Okay, what's the Likert scale?
1 means abysmal, not happening. Like, I wouldn't even date that guy, right? 10, perfection, awesome. And in the context of, well, no, I'm not going to go into the context. 1 to 10, what would you say the batting average is? Like, Seth is this way more than not. Now, I know that 2022 was hard, and I've said a lot of rude things when we get in arguments and stuff like that. But on the whole, is it more days than not of these things that you're talking about, or less days than not? And you could do it a 1 to 10. Does that make sense?
You started with a 1 to 10, and then you changed your scale. Majority of the time, you are 10. You're
10.
I mean, what's the good or bad? I don't know.
10's the highest.
Is high the best? Or is
10 is unattainable to me to a degree, not unattainable, but just like rock star. You're the best.
So for most of the days, you are close to, I think, the best at that stuff.
Wow. Okay.
But then when you're bad at it, so this is, now let me say this. This is why I can tolerate when you're bad at things. And saying bad sounds stupid, but when you're like the days that you struggle with this stuff, I can tolerate it better because you are really, really good. You're a really good person.
Thanks.
But when
That's good to hear.
you become a ding dong, when you ding dongify.
When I dong ding.
Oh,
that's gross.
Yeah, I don't know. But when, again, that is something important to point out because the vast majority of the time, Seth is really excellent. You're very funny. You cook food. You take the kids skiing. Like, you're fun. You're great to be around. And the few times that you struggle, there's two big components there. One, I think that we can grow and figure it out together. So I have hope for it. And then two,
an actual, I'm glad you said that. That is a key component. Even the Bible talks about
hope deferred makes the heart sick.
Yeah.
Even the Bible talks about
crickets. No, that's locusts.
Well done. But yeah, so that is, I don't remember what the question of the scale was all about, but that I think has been something that works in your favor and in our favor, is that you are very good at many, many things, and where you're lacking is a really narrow window.
Right.
And so it's a lot easier for me than it would be if it was the opposite. If you were like a turd all the time.
So that's when couples get into trouble, and I'm thinking of Gottman stuff, like the Four Horsemen and stuff like that. It's like, or the love bank, like what is your love bank account? You know, you want to make you want a ratio of 5 to 1, 5 good things to 1 bad thing. So what you're saying is, yes, more often than not, that's a 5 to 1 ratio. Taking care of the kids, being thoughtful of you, being kind, loving, making money, all these things that make you feel safe, seen, heard, loved, soothed,
secure,
all that stuff.
And wearing plaid.
And wearing plaid. And we get a lot of questions, and I talk to a lot of dudes who are experiencing a different ratio, and we've definitely experienced this. Like, man, things aren't going good right now. What is going on? Kind of thing. And those, if you don't get out of that rut, then that is when things go south.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So hearing that, you saying that, it's good to, I think, let other listeners know that. And guys, I mean, it makes me think of the This Is How Your Marriage Ends book.
Oh yeah.
Like, his ratio, obviously, because they got divorced, was not a 5 to 1 ratio. And if you listen, we had him on the show, and if you read the book, he talks about that, and he realized that after the fact. So hopefully he's not going to do it.
What is his name? I can't think
in the future. Matthew
Frey.
Matthew Frey. It's a really good book, by the way. This Is How Your Marriage Ends. Go check it out on Audible.
And there's something too that I want to say. This is going to be funny, I think, for women. I think will understand this, but I want men to hear it. Is a lot of times you'll see women will make jokes, or there's like memes about like sexy dads. Like, a man taking care of a little kid is one of the like sexiest things ever, because he's not being a partier. He's not like, there's so much more in it than just like a man and a baby. But for a woman, it means so many things. That like snapshot is like, he's protecting, he's providing, he's loving this little baby. He's attuning, like playing with the little baby and walking and holding its hand. Like, some of my favorite pictures are you and our kids when they were tiny. Right. And, but it's like what he's not doing is also a big part of it too. He's not like some leechy, sleazy, gross, like, hey, mama. Like, that's not even a part of it. And I want men to hear that. I don't think enough men understand that. The most attractive thing that you can do for your wife is be for your wife. Love her. Be interested in her. Take care of your kids. Like, love together this way at your marriage, not bringing stuff in. And you should do this thing that I saw this one lady with big do. Like, people do stuff like that. Edit that out, Reva, at minute 15:03. It just becomes funny. We're trying, people. Anyway, that's something that I wish that more men understood, is that the most attractive thing to a spouse is that like genuine love of them. of the thing you're building together, not what someone else is doing on on Cinemax or something. I don't even know what that is. Something over here that we don't have that I don't know what it is. The other thing I wanted to say too is in this idea, we said what really turns women on. It's consistency, it's commitment, it's being calm, it's being loving, it's being brave, it's being caring, all of these things. And I think sometimes people don't understand it. So if people look at our marriage and they want what we have, I think that they need to know also what we don't do. So this is a really important factor. So how many times have you suggested to me that we open our marriage for someone else to come into it?
Never.
Never. Seth has never suggested that we do that. Not one time. How many times have you suggested that we watch pornography together?
0.
Never. He has never suggested that we watch pornography together.
Now, how many times have you suggested that we invite somebody into marriage?
0.
+1.
What are you talking about? Turd. These are...
I wanted to zing you.
And I think that it's important to see because
Okay.
Whoa.
How many times have I said, yo, check it out. I saw this guy downtown Seattle. He had a needle. He put it in his arm.
Yeah, I've seen that. Driving the kids home from...
Well, yes, we've seen it.
Freaking terrible.
A billion. But how many times have I suggested that we do meth together?
0.
Or fentanyl.
0.
Or pills.
0.
You understand what I'm saying? But dude, it looks fun.
Yeah, it's so fun. The guy under the overpass, he just looked like he was delighted.
So, and we talked about that in the other Patreon episode a little bit too, giving that analogy of if you had an idea or if I had an idea, how about this? Yo, I can get, what is that all black credit card that super rich people have?
Like I know.
Something. It's something.
American Express Black.
I don't know. But it has a $250,000 limit.
Quadrillion.
Hey, let's get that card. Let's see if we can get it. You and me.
Spend it all.
Spend it all. Okay. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Would you go for that?
No.
Why?
It's not wise.
It's not wise. It's not a good idea. Is it permissible?
Yeah, you
could we?
You could do it.
Could we work towards that?
If we wanted to.
Would it be beneficial?
No.
Right.
Right. And I think it's important for people to really hear. Again, if you look at the relationship that we have and you go, gosh, I wish that we had that. I wish that me and my spouse could laugh like that or talk about things that openly. The reason that Seth and I can do this, one, we've had we have something like 500 episodes. That's like 500 hours of talking about relationship stuff. That's not insignificant, right? That is a lot of conversation. So we have, and why all of these conversations add up to us being able to talk openly about stuff is we've tempered ourselves to one another. We've have so much experience now that we know how to navigate tricky things well. That's a skill that you have to learn over time. So it means you have to do it, right?
Which, let's be real. If we're not anything, we're real. What was I going to say?
I don't know. Conversations.
And also still continuing to work on it
and grow together.
We have, this is actual and literal. I know I say literal way too often.
I read a thing that says it makes you sound basic. Not you, like everybody.
Right. It waters it down. But in reality, we have some type of marriage or growth mindset conversation about dozens of things every single day.
Every day.
And that is not an exaggeration. It is not a joke. There is not a day goes by. There is not a day that goes by that an Audible book is not in our ears, or a podcast or a book.
We share things,
or a journal or something, right? And so where was I going with that? And that does not mean that we have it all together. 2022 was a crap well, it wasn't a crap show.
No, it wasn't.
It was hard, right? It was a difficult year for a lot of reasons. And we are currently in counseling for a lot of reasons, for maintenance and also for us to grow closer together.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, who was it? I think it was somebody one of our friends They were talking about in a picture perfect marriage, and I was like, bro, no, that's not it.
They were talking about us?
Yeah, talking about us, and they were probably being exaggerating. And
I hope so.
I stopped them and said, wait a minute, no, that's not it. We just try to work hard. It's like if you see, okay, here's an example. Our coach, Cody Jefferson, go check him out. His stuff is fire. He has a really nice body. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he does.
No, I'm serious.
I just thought it would be funny.
He's
It's funny
jacked.
that you said it.
He's jacked, and I can look at other dudes and go, whoa. So how do you think that they got that? They wake up at 4:30 a.m. They go to the gym. They diet. They do all this stuff. They not only work out their body, but they work out their spirit and their mind and their brain and their relationships and all that stuff. And that is what I am striving for. Now, you and I had a 2-hour-long conversation about this, and you're like, wait a minute, you're saying this sometimes, you're saying this. That is the struggle. That is the struggle. It's not like or me rather, and a lot of dudes I talk to are the same way. This is what we want, and it's about cussed.
You dare.
It is really, really extremely hard, but if that's what you want, then it's going to be hard. Then it's going to be a struggle. In fact, I had an awesome conversation in the mastermind this morning, badasshusband.com, by the way, and we were talking about, it was a really good conversation. We were talking about, okay, what you did yesterday doesn't matter. Every single day, wake up and start at day one, like you had never told your wife you loved her, like you never.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, wait a minute. Oh, I'm so good. I'm day 74 on day 75. Day 75, I'm quitting because it's over, kind of thing. Wake up every single day like it's day one. Right. And we were talking about David Goggins and all these other dudes that we follow and stuff like that. And I wish I recorded the conversation because it just goes so deep of it is anything worth working for, finances, body, spirituality. It's like a knife. If you use your knife, like I have a pocket knife. If my pants are on, what's in them?
Your knife.
If I use this thing every day, cutting stuff, rope or whatever, whittling a thing, or like skinning deer, I've done that a zillion times. What is going to happen to the knife when I use it for what it's made for every single day?
It gets dull.
It gets dull. It has to be maintained. It has to be wiped off. The crusty deer blood, the
Crusty deer blood, he says.
The sand.
Hashtag sexy, hashtag providing for your family. Crusty deer blood.
Thank you. That's hilarious. I've been into so many really high level meetings wearing my Filson vest.
That has blood on it.
Yeah, that has a big deer stain on it, but it's like smeared in. You can't tell. It doesn't stink or anything. But I like that. I take pride of like,
crusty deer blood.
And then all these other freaking Seattle posers wearing.
Enough.
Oh boy,
They're not
don't even
Seattle
get me started.
posers.
Don't even get me started. Anyway, if you use something the way that it's supposed to be used, you have to maintain it. And I struggle with that. That's just part of it, right? So, hey, knife, do you struggle with being sharp? No, this is what I was meant to do. So I'm just talking to myself on that. Hey, it's day one. It's day one. Sharpen your knife every single day. Read the Bible. Read books. Talk to your wife. Hug your wife. Treat her like she is supposed to be treated. And then it just works out. Sorry, I know that was a tangent. I hope it was helpful, but
no, I think that was really helpful. And the thing I just want to add to that is, again, what I think some people assume maybe things like, I don't know, there are just so many things that we don't do in our marriage that are part of the reason that it's successful. And this all ties back into, again, what really turns women on was what the title of this episode is. That's the title of this episode, right? And what turns women on can also be the words you don't say to her. Make sense? So you cannot call your wife a terrible name or scream in her face or try to scare her with like throwing things at her or anything like, or you're harming your kids or driving home drunk or whatever. Like,
so let's say those are kind of, because in my mind, sorry to cut you off, in my mind, those are the obvious things.
No, they're not. And here's what. No. So here, I love that you thought that was an obvious thing, but this is something that needs to be explicitly said. If it didn't need to be said, we wouldn't have clients in our office, our virtual Zoom office, doing those exact behaviors.
Okay.
You cannot have a beautiful, flourishing, healthy, magnetic, inviting, exciting marriage and a wonderful sex life when you scream in your wife's face every other week, or you drive home drunk as those things do not go together. It falls out of the divine order of love. It doesn't happen. It doesn't work. And I think so many people think, well, they probably fight when they're not, blah, blah, blah. Melanie probably is mean. She's mean on the show. She's probably mean in real life. Like, no, I don't. I'm not that way to Seth. I mean, I'm just thinking of clients. I just thinking of like the way, like, and I'm not, this is not a judgment, but like, it's like saying, I really want to save up for my dream vacation, but the sweater was on sale at Walmart. So I bought 2 of them. And I really want to save up for my dream vacation, but Starbucks.
Right.
Like, no, if you, then don't. Like, you will never get there if you're like, the price of your new life is your old one, right? If you want a marriage like ours and you want to, like, I will say things like, I don't have bad sex. That's a real statement. Part of the reason I don't have bad sex is you are not a bad person. Like, you're not calling me terrible names. You're not scary to be around. You're not drunk all the time. You're not yelling at our children. Like, there's a lot to be said about what is not happening that helps what does happen go farther.
Put it in another context. If someone is, I don't know, got a good nest egg of savings or a nice 401k, what are they not doing?
They're not spending recklessly.
They're not starting a 401k. They're not automatic withdrawing from their check or whatever. You see what I'm saying? They're not
employer matching.
Right. And so in order to do better, you have to know better. Is that right?
I don't know. You said it, not me.
Did I make it up?
Who knows? Crusty deer blood.
Right. So if you don't know something, go out and know it.
Right.
There are a lot of gazillionaires that we follow, and they talk about, if you don't know something, there is infinite free college just online right now. You may not earn a degree from it, but if I said, you know what, I am determined in 1 year from now, I'm going to completely remove the engine from my car, completely rebuild it, and it's going to work. I could learn every single thing that I needed to know just on YouTube.
I know, which is insane.
I wouldn't even have to go to some special Toyota Yaris forums, where gearheads are on there and do this and all. I want just have to type it once.
Who's in the Yaris forums? That's a very funny thought. Is it all like IT dudes?
I don't know, but there's everything for everything.
It's all just my brother.
Yeah, probably. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. But I just think that there's so much to be said about what is not happening what needs to not happen in order for your wife to be turned on with you. You cannot yell at her. You cannot say, hey, look at this busty lady. I want you to do what she's doing. Hey, I bought you this lingerie, although I know you hate lingerie and I don't actually care about your feelings, but will you put that on because that's what I want? Seth doesn't do that to me. And I know that sounds like a weird thing to share, like loads of TMI, but
oh, please.
Listen.
Like we don't share stuff on here.
Sometimes I'm worried that my new friends will listen and I feel like I have to caveat things.
You're self-censoring now?
I'm not self-censoring. I guffaw at that.
You guffaw. Okay.
But anyway, there's just a lot to be said for, it's almost like it's positive and negative. Like you have to have the positives about, again, what women really want is to be safe with their spouse, to be seen, not to just feel it, but to be it, do not cut me off. To be really like, I see that these things matter to you. I'm working as a team with you. I see that you are taking care of our children or our home, or you're running a business. And I love that. Like this core, really, I see you. I understand you. I'm here. I'm protecting you. I'm working with you. I'm providing with you and for you and all of these things. That's one element. But then on the other side, you can't, it's almost like having, like if you have a bag of money, but you got holes cut in the bottom, patch the holes in the bottom. And a lot of times for married couples, the holes in the bottom are, well, he yells in my face and calls me every terrible name under the sun. Or he comes home at 2 a.m, drunk out of his mind, and he's crashed 4 cars. Those are holes in the bottom of the bag that no amount of positive pouring into can fix. Those things need to be taken out. Stop suggesting that your wife watches pornography. If you're watching pornography, she doesn't want you to, stop watching it, right? Like close the holes in the bottom of the bag because it's just draining all the resources of a rich marriage. It's draining the resources out of it. Does that make sense?
Yes, this is what I have to say to you.
Say it to me now.
I think there are also smaller holes.
Like what?
Like not just blaring things like, oh, he comes home at 2 and crashed 4 cars. You don't even have a bag at that point. You know what I'm
some
saying?
people do. I mean,
yeah, okay,
I just don't want to.
some.
I don't want to leave anything unsaid. So, what are the smaller holes without diminishing mine?
Well, no, like smaller ones, and I think this is what Matthew Frey was talking about. It was leaving the sink. No, leaving the cup next to the sink over and over and over. Those kind of small
dismissing
holes.
her feelings.
Dismissing. Oh, that's no big deal because I don't care about the cup and next to the sink. Her caring about something so small is just goofy. Doesn't she know that I work hard and there's bigger things there's bigger fish to fry kind of thing. So look out for the small things. And I have a question for you.
Can I say one thing before your question?
Yes.
So I would say this, men, if you struggle in this area of like, if you're like short tempered and you want to just get like mad and say something unkind to your wife when she's trying to figure something out, it's very sexy for a man to learn healthy negotiation skills, healthy ways of talking to his wife. It feels very good to to feel seen in that way. And that's just a thought. I just want to float it out in your way. What's the question?
So when you were saying women wants these things, safe, secure. I'm not a woman, clearly. I think that you need those things.
Unless you're, and this is what I said in the very beginning, unless you have been abused and you don't know what you need, you do need these things, yes. But abused women, like really hurt women, will not see this. And so that is something I want to say. Some women will hear this episode and be like, I'm not that way. And they've created like chaos in their whole world. And their world is upside down all the time. And they fight all the time. They yell all the time. They're physically abusive. They, like that. That's just a sign that you need to like really heal. And so I'm only saying that.
Okay.
I don't know if that
For
helps.
You need those things. Do you need those things? You want those things. Clearly that's been established. Do you need those things in order? Well, I think you do.
Yes, I will say it like this. I need them for my children's benefit. If you stop living that way, if you stop living like healthy and generatively in our marriage, I will not stay married to you because I will not put our kids through that.
Right.
But I see that you're...
I'm sorry to cut you off. You need those things in order to open up to me.
Yes.
Physically.
Yes. That's the key.
I turned on.
Yes.
Right? Like this guy we follow, Jake Woodward.
Oh.
Jake Woodard. He talks about masculine and feminine all the time in very concrete terms. Black and white terms. And it's really interesting. I like his stuff a lot. And he talks about, yes, that opens you up figuratively and what's the other thing?
Literally.
Yeah. Opens you up.
Right.
Your mind, your heart, your body. In another episode we were talking about, some lady said that she was, dries the Sahara like a bag of sand. Opens you up.
Right.
In that way. So you need that. I mean, that just makes a lot of sense to me. You need that. And I think on a spiritual level and emotional level, you need that. Just like guys need things. You know what I'm saying? So I want to ask a question, and this isn't about what turns you on, but if all of those things were just boom, 99% solid. Of course, there's slip ups and stuff like that, whatever. Safe, soothe, seen, secure.
You're going Dr. Dan Siegel style.
Right. And then what else do we say? Consistent, loving, nurturing, kind, caring. I know that you like the plaid, so I do that on purpose. So then you feel like, oh, he's actually paying attention to me, right? And not in a just, oh, I'm gonna get laid because of this. Oh, I'm also paying attention to You've told me the cup on the sink really bothers you. Guess what the sink is? In the sink now.
The sink is in the sink?
Sorry. Next
cup.
to the sink. Or it's in the dishwasher.
Right.
Oh,
right.
Along with all the other dishes are in the dishwasher. If all of those things are in line, does it make sense that if a guy, somebody I know, I'm asking for my friend, and I am my friend, the things that he needs physically, not just sex, and emotionally, asking for those, because I think, and we get a lot of questions about this all the time. He just wants sex all the time. Oh, it's crazy. And I think that is only crazy because the guy isn't doing all those things that is opening up his wife spiritually, emotionally, physically.
Yeah.
Right?
I
So,
think...
hold on. So, in a scenario, and I have told you, and some guys are like this, some aren't. But in our relationship, physical touch, not just sex, but obviously that's a big one, I'm not going to say that it's as important as your need to feel safe and secure and protected and all that stuff. It's pretty dang high up there, actually. And that's just like a foray into the masculine thinking kind of thing. If all those things were there and a guy was like, hey, I want to establish a routine of a lot of sex, could that be normalized? If I said, you know what is a perfect marriage out there? Well, the husband is just a dream guy, and he does everything for his wife. He's differentiated. He does this, and the wife feels, yes, I feel all those things 99.9% of the time. Is it normal if the guy said...
yeah, I mean, so I'm just going to answer your question. Yes, if that's what the couple wants. Yeah. Like we have former clients of ours that are like that. Have sex like almost every day. And that's just where they are. That's their vibe, and they love it. And like, I think I immediately thought of a lion, like lions, for some reason, because and I don't know what made me think of this, but like lions don't, you don't ever see a male lion being like, I just don't really feel like lioning today.
Lioning?
I'll just like watch TV while my wife goes and hunts the whatever, because like, I don't know, I'm like not in the mood or whatever. In nature, it's like animals are wired. They just do the thing they're wired to do. They don't think about it. They don't not do it. They don't go, well, I did it yesterday. I don't want to do it today. They're always doing the thing that they say they're going to do. Listen, Nancy, I'm going to hunt in the savannah today. But anyway, a lion named Nancy is funny. But I believe that, okay, I'm going to say this as clearly as I can.
Okay.
That if you're, and I'm going to use our relationship because
that's
again,
what, obviously I'm alluding to that.
So, in the ways that the small areas that you do not help me feel protected, that you do not help me feel seen or loved or cared for, again, it's like a fraction of our whole world. It's a very narrow amount, but that narrow amount accounts for most of the times we don't have sex. You hear what I'm saying?
What do you mean most of the time?
The narrow times that you're, how would I word this? If you could show up male lion vibes, like you're not going to get so mad at me that you call me a name, or you're not going to say that I'm stupid, like whatever. If you can fix those things.
Reducing those times.
Yeah. Like to zero, because they don't need to be there.
Right.
Is it helpful?
No.
So they don't need to be there. They're auxiliary.
As one goes down, the other goes up.
Yeah. And so if you take those away, why wouldn't I have sex with you? The reasons I don't is because you're annoying. Like you're mean to me sometimes.
Right.
And I'm serious. I'm not being silly about that.
I know.
But I don't want that to sound like I'm withholding sex from you, because I'm not. That's
no,
not
it's
at
not.
all.
It's not that.
That vibe.
But I can imagine, here's this. I'm going to futurecast, right? I can imagine a relationship with you and I. And actually, this is like real-time stuff, which obviously we're talking about it because that's what we do. And this, I can imagine reducing those times where I have said stupid things that are hurtful, that are dismissive, that produce feelings in you that aren't safe, that aren't soothing, that aren't seeing you, kind of thing. I can see that going down with a lot of freaking work on my part. And that's not a horn tooting or anything. That's like, no, I know what it will take to do that. and probably not a lot. I'm reading a book called The One Thing, and there's
it's really at the end of the day, it's just self-control. It's like self-control
it's
and
called
like
the
mastery.
Pareto's rule or Pareto's law or something. It's
Pretzels?
No, not pretzels. Oots pretzels. Just came to my mind. It's like 80% of the work gets done with 20% of the effort if you're focusing on the right thing. Yeah, Pareto's law. What's the definition of it? Nando. Pareto principle states that for
80% of the
outcomes,
consequences come from 20% of the work. So it's like 80% of the outcome comes from 20% of the work.
Right. So when I do to make it a point, Nando Perry's.
That's exactly what I was thinking. His name is Nando Parato.
That's a great sauce. What? Okay, that's a tangent. Anyway, I'm talking about Nando's Peri Peri.
I know.
From Australia.
I know what you're talking about.
Matt said there's a chain in Australia of that, and it has chicken with a sauce on it.
Really good sauce. Man. We had to have that again.
Yeah. Okay. But anyway, when I can do that, and that's dudes, we got work to do, right? Don't shy away from it. We were built to build, built to run, built to do hard stuff, right? Then, so that I am air quotes giving you what you want and need, not because we'll have sex maybe every other day, that'd be awesome, or every day, but I give you what you need, and then you are open to give me what I need. So it's reciprocal. Mm-hmm. It is like I'm casting a vision for that. Like, okay, and who does it start with? Seriously,
you.
It starts. So, I mean, if you were talking, it starts with you. Like, we have to own our stuff. We have to have individual accountability. But I know that starts with me. Mm-hmm. I'm going to listen to this podcast later. It starts with me, and then it just goes.
Well, and I say it would start with whoever struggles with the thing.
Yeah, right? that's so what I'm saying. So it's
not like.
So I'm identifying that thing.
Right. And I will say, too, that in general, you would have a more general intimacy with me, not just sex.
Right.
Like I would feel far more inclined to touch you.
Right.
And snuggle with you or whatever. But at the current state, and again, it's not bad or anything, but like at the current state, there's just enough lack of trust and safety, just a tiny narrow sliver of it where I'm protecting myself from it, which that sounds like really ridiculous. That sounds like dramatic, but we're just here talking about it.
We both know that we are not dramatic.
Anyway. But yeah, so I hope that this is helpful. And again, I think that this is something that is not communicated enough, that it's not just in order for a woman to be turned on, again, unless she's been abused, and you better hear that with some seriously like good listening ears. Women that are hypersexualized have a tendency to have been very abused by other people. Ugh, pornography is full of abuse. Like,
don't add us and say, well, I'm not. So
yeah,
it's not you can have a high sex drive and not.
Yeah, but there are data. Right? People study this stuff. But
datum.
But that being said, I want men to really hear this, that women, especially if you're married and have kids, you've already signed that, you've already made the deal, and they want to feel seen and loved and cared for. And when they're crying or they're PMSing, you just love them. You don't argue with them. You don't tell them, oh, I guess someone's about to get a period. Blah. You don't say things like, women be shopping. Like that stuff has got to go. Mm-hmm. It has to. If you want your wife to open up to you sexually, emotionally, relationally, if you want this, that's where the work has to happen. You have to stop saying things like that and start actively like listening and leaning in and being present, not just being a bully, not just saying, well, I'm in charge, I'm a leader, none of that stuff. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? You made a crinkle face. What was your crinkle face?
I'm thinking of the analogy that I think I've already said it. If you want a good body, mm-hmm. like a fit, stretchable,
flexible, crack yourself up.
I guess so. Flexible, agile body where you can run around with your kids and do stuff or climb a hill or mm-hmm. whatever. What do you have to do? You have to own it and go, oh crap, I'm not that. Own it, not defend it.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
stop eating Ruby's ice cream chocolate chip sandwiches every day
on the
for
way
$5.
Home from Chinese food like we did last night.
Oh, that was the best. Golden chopsticks or whatever.
So anyway, it's all correlated. We all know this stuff. We're not dummies. All it takes is discipline and hard work. I'm preaching to myself.
And some of us don't know
All the
this.
time.
So that's why I wanted to do this whole episode. Some of us don't. I think there's things that we think are implied. Oh, everyone knows that, but they don't. Not everybody does, because not everybody grew up in a home where it was modeled to be gentle and loving and kind. Most people did not grow up in that home, and we go to what we know. So now you know better. You can do better.
Now you know better. So you guys, thank you for listening. Again, this is a free AOS episode, Anatomy of Sex. If you want more episodes like this, go to patreon.com/anatomy of us, patreon.com/anatomy of us. We also do high performance marriage coaching. We haven't talked about it for a minute, but it is so impactful. We've done it. We have a coach. We're in other coaching programs. And when you invest in yourself, guess what you do? You invest in your marriage. When you invest in your marriage, you invest in your family. Like we talked about before, married people who have good relationships live longer. They're happier. Their satisfaction ratings
Their
of life.
children are happier. Their grandchildren are happier. It's generational.
It's all generational, you guys. So
Sorry, I was mad about that.
you don't have to be mad about it, but go click the coaching button if you want to have a conversation with us to see if coaching is a right fit for you. It is an investment of time and money, and it is freaking worth it.
Right. One last thing. Mark your calendar for July 28th through the 30th in Orlando. Boom. We're going to do the Power Couple Summit with Larry Hagner of the Dad Edge podcast. I can't flip and wait.
Yeah.
Our kids are going to be there. We're going to try to get childcare so that all y'all can bring your kiddos. Our kids can be friends. It's going to be amazing.
And guys, let me just tell you, this was a real conversation with me and Larry and Melanie, and I suggested, because it's going to be in Florida, hey, let's do something cool with the dudes, and we might go alligator hunting at night. Just saying.
I haven't heard that.
Just saying. But I guarantee you that you have never been to a marriage conference where one of the activities
is an alligator hunt.
Alligator hunting. Okay? I'm just going to leave it there. So if you want to...
Does Larry know that?
We talked about it.
I guess
told
I
him.
didn't think it was a real.
Well,
I don't know.
Well, we're talking about it. It's not a guarantee that we're going to go wrestle gators and kill them or whatnot, but we are talking about it and how cool that would be, or something else. So
the ladies are going to go
deep sea fishing.
Yeah. I was trying to think of like a thing. I don't know of anything in Florida. We're going to hunt Bigfoot.
Ooh, okay.
Sasquatch.
Don't know if it's in Florida, but
there is. Florida's weird, man. Anyway, all right. We love you. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. Have an amazing day. Now that you know better, you can do better. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to Anatomy of Us. This podcast is produced by my mom, Melanie Studley, and hosted by my dad, Seth Studley. Our show is edited and published by our producer, Reva Hansen, from Creative Media Support. Special thanks to our Patreon members that get an extra episode every week. Thanks for watching. Love you. Bye.